Right, so we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the stream. On tonight's agenda, oh, it actually has a notification. Let me check out what's on tonight's agenda. I'm going to contribute to a module, so I'm going to show everyone how to, like, if you're not familiar with GitHub, I'm going to show you kind of a simplified way to interact. And I'm going to create a new meta package module, and I'll tell you a little bit more about meta packages in a bit. And then DBA checks for the accidental DBA. So, if you're a systems engineer, SQL Server isn't your primary job. There's some basic things that we want to check regularly. There's a lot of things, and DBA checks makes that really easy. So what I'm going to do now is basically make sure that the new DBA Tools Twitch channel is streaming my stream. I don't really know how, though. Let's see. You go to twitch.tv/DBA Tools. All right, it's working. Okay. So what I'm going to do at that channel, still also going to stream from PowerShell Live. But with DBA Tools, that is going to be dedicated to the DBA Tools team members. So if you are a team member and you're streaming, let me know and I'll add you to this auto streaming page. And then I'm also going to hook that into Twitter to do the to do the announcements. So I'm going to reach out to the people who are in charge. I think that's Mark of PowerShell Live. And ask him how he is able to detect it and then auto report. All right. So the first thing is, if for those of you who are joining and are interested in live streaming and you're like, I don't know how to get started. I didn't either as of a month ago. And I just, I had a lot of questions and there was a lot of cool things that people did and I didn't know how to do them. And it was really hard because I didn't have the words in my vernacular to be like, how do I pause? How do I make a cool pause scene in Twitch? And so what I did was I wrote a guide, and right now if you just go to netnerds.net, it's the first one there, and it shows basically how to get started, the hardware that I use, the software, the way that I do this. So we go. I just got this one. This is the Sadie's. It's a replacement for these. I've had these since like 2015. And I wanted to talk about the pause screen real quick. So a lot of times you're like, hey, I have to leave for a moment. And the way that people do that is they click on this little pause. So you create scenes here in the the lower left. And you hit pause. So now what I'm gonna do is hit pause so you can see what it's like. And now we're back. And then, so that was the pause stream. Right now you're at the Windows stream. And then if I go to the core dev entire display, then that is what the entire thing looks like. So whenever, I'm working with GitHub Desktop and VS Code within Mac, it'll make it easy. And I want to go back to my Windows stream. There we go. Cool. All right. So my buddy from work, Loose Cannon, his name is Joe, and Joe made something super awesome. He created a new PowerShell module called VSCodeBackup. And many years ago, Lee Holmes from the PowerShell team, he's like, hey, why isn't DBA Tools on the PowerShell gallery? And I was like, it's just not ready. And he said, put it out there. And so whenever Joe told me about VSCodeBackup, I was like, man, I wanted that exact thing. Can you please put in the PowerShell gallery? And he did, so that's really awesome. And there are a couple things that I wanted to modify about his documentation. And I figured that this is a really great way to show people the way that that my GitHub workflow is, and how I think somewhat easy it can be once, like if you just watch it over and over again. Celebration emoji. Oh, hey, Kendra. How are you? I actually added a light today. And we were talking about this in the live stream channel on the SQL Slack community, and that's why it's more lit up in the back. I tried with a regular lamp, and hey Shane, I tried with a regular lamp and it looked horrible. So I got this other thing that shines. It's for winter time to keep your mood up, and it is absolutely ridiculously bright. So I can't really use it for anything other than this. So that's nice. Oh, awesome. So Kendra Little is, if for those of you who are on the stream from PowerShell, Kendra is kind of a big deal in the SQL Server community, and she just said, "I'm so excited, and I just downloaded VS Code for the first time to run PowerShell today." So this is, oh my God, are you using the old ISE? I mean, I opened that thing and then I closed it, and I was like, I would rather use Notepad++. So you need to read the goober part. She said, I've been using the old IDE like a goober forever. No, I actually presented in the ISC forever, and I tried the other day to switch to VS Code, but it wasn't, to switch to VS Code in Windows, and it wasn't cooperating, so I actually still use it to do demos. So I am ashamed as well, and actually every time that I open up the ISC, and I know that people are going to put it on Twitter, and then I'm going to get like shamed, I'm just like, look, I wanted to do code, and it's just not letting me. But I am moving that way now. And in this stream, I am going to be using it. Admittedly, so GitHub is actually integrated. Is it? Maybe? Did I add an extension? I don't know. But it's super easy within VS Code. However, I like the workflow of GitHub Desktop, so that's what I'm going to be using. So Shane said that he uses VS Code for everything but SQL at this stage, and there is kind of a VS Code equivalent in the SQL world called Azure Data Studio, and they're built off of that same code base, is my understanding. So now I am going to start with the modification. I'm going to submit a pull request to a repo. So the first thing I'm going to do is find an awesome repo that I want to contribute to in this VS Code Backup, which exports your VS Code settings and then imports it. Seems like a great idea. So here we have the repo, a little README that got merged moments ago. The first thing that you want to do is create a fork. And the reason is because basically what it does is it creates a copy of this repo and it puts it in your own repository, which gives you write access. So we're going to fork, and then it says, where should we fork it? I'm part of a couple different organizations. So I can fork it to my personal repository. I can fork it to PSConfEU or the SQL Collaborative. So I'm just going to fork it to my own. I love this, super cute. Oh, if you were wondering why is my GitHub dark? I don't think that GitHub has a dark theme yet. The answer is this amazing thing called Dark Reader. I've been talking about it a lot on Twitter. It is absolutely amazing. Check this out. You can actually adjust the brightness. What it does is it auto writes all of your style sheets on the fly. So it's magical. You can even add some sepia, some grayscale, but I like just their default settings. So I'm going to turn that off. And then check it out. If you're like, oh man, it's just not working for GitHub, you uncheck it, and this is what GitHub usually looks like, and you put it back on. You can also turn it on and off entirely. So if I want it off for every single website, I could do that. But I want it on in general, and it feels so much better to browse the web. Right? I know. Pew Pew's like, oh, pew pew. Oh my God, that's such a cool extension. It is actually, it's such a good extension. I ended up contributing to it because it blew my mind. There's other approaches that some other plugin editors took, or plugin providers. So what used to happen is you would go to, I think it's called nope. I don't know. But basically, there was this repository where you create themes, and then you can apply them to a website, and I actually found DBA tools on there, which is awesome. But that kind of, it's not automatic. In this case, they actually evaluate somehow, probably some like AI stuff. They evaluate what it should look like, and then they redraw it. So that's absolutely magical. So getting back to this, you can see here, so this is my potato quality. Now I have this writable code base at VSCodeBackup, and it's forked from loose cannon / VSCodeBackup. So now what I'm going to do is I'll click clone or download. And again, I am a GitHub desktop user. I don't want to learn the commands for Git. The concept to me was hard enough, and I just really wanted a visual way to work with it, and it's stuck, and it's my favorite way. So, hey, Techno Viking, I love that. Hey guys, actually, I downloaded that one and I put it in on the SQL Server community Slack. So if you want to hey guys on there, you can now. Oh, so check it out. You can open this in Visual Studio, or you can open in desktop, or just download the zip. I don't know if you guys remember, like years ago, it felt impossible. I'm like, I don't understand what cloning is. I just want these files, and now it's very easy. But what I'm going to do is open in desktop, and this is going to open, oops, you know what? Let me delete that because I had previously done this, but I wanted to show you guys from the beginning. So I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to edit my video. I lie. So now there's nothing there, and I'm just going to say clone. So I changed my local path to GitHub, so every single time that I clone a new repo, it'll go there. So now it's going and it's getting it. And I want to make some changes. So the things that I want to make changes to, let's go open this in VS Code. I recently switched to VS Code Insiders because now I can use it. There's a feature that was released on Insiders that I've been waiting for a long time. And it's actually helping me make the migration from PowerShell Studio to VS Code. So you just right click. This is pretty cool. And you open with Code Insiders. And I recently picked a new dark theme for this. Let me see which one I'm using. Color theme. This is the Abyss. So now we are in VS Code, and we are looking at this PowerShell module. And the thing, I actually submitted a pull request about an hour ago that said, I just copy pasted from DBA Tools and then modified it. But DBA Tools supports PowerShell v3 and above. And what I realized as I looked at the code, if we go here to functions and back up, I'm just gonna X out this integrated console. So Kendra said, do you ever watch the stream? No, I didn't. I've never seen the auto-generated subtitles, because let me see. Yeah, I horrify myself whenever I watch it. And so, although I think that I might have scrolled through to see what it was saying, to see how accurate it is. So Kendra said it seems like it's just as good as YouTube's non-live generated ones. I don't understand what that means. You should see Chrissy's accidentally swear. I remember what did I accidentally swear whenever I was like sheets? I wonder what it called it as. Sheets? No, it knew I said sheets. That's incredible. Wow, I'm impressed. Oh, tonight's consumption agenda is some yerba mate, double filtered, some intense spa water. So, I always have to drink 3 things at once, and then some regular water. All right, so Kendra, so you said they're also about as good as what I see on network TV shows for the US. I don't know what that's in reference to. I'm so sorry. Oh, the subtitles. Yes. I was actually thinking about that. And I wondered if you go to the website for PubNub, or there was some website that was kind of tongue in cheek, like, you're going to take my job. And I wondered if if that's accurate. And I think that AI is probably, at least right now, appropriate for things like this. But I don't know so much about, if I was a $1 billion corporation, I would probably keep somebody, because there's a lot of nuances on here. And as you guys see, with different accents and stuff, it comes out differently. Tech words go funny. There are people, kind of like, I have a lot of friends who are interpreters, and I have a friend that was actually, she's a high school friend that became an interpreter, and she was like, Chrissy, I was at a SQL conference the other day, and I had a lot of questions for her, because a lot of times if you see somebody, if you have interpreters at a conference, you'll get at least 2. And they'll sit down every 15 minutes or so. And the reason is because it's very exhausting for them. So they need a break there. So with Lou, I call him, so Joe is my buddy. He's my PowerShell friend, and we're also colleagues. And in the real world, I call him Joe. And on here, I call him Lou's, because it looked like Lou's Cannon. So that might be how I refer to him. So in Luz's code, what I noticed was that he was using compress archive, and in the restore, he's using, what is it? Expand archive. And I believe that both of these were introduced in Windows 8 or Windows 10. And so it's actually not compatible with V3. So what I'm going to do is fix my typo that I submitted earlier. And then I'm going to modify his PSD1 in the event that he hasn't. That's his module manifest, to actually not allow it to be installed without without PS version 5. And PS version 5, it's very easy to install. It's the Windows, so it's called Windows Management Framework. Yeah, Windows Management Framework is what provides PowerShell to you. So you could just download it and install it, and it's way faster. If you've worked with PowerShell 3, you'll notice an immediate difference, and it's more secure. So that is something that we recommend. I know in some places, you just can't win that battle, but if you can, it's easy enough to address. So, expand Compass. Oops, it's expand to what? So I have a story about Compass. Growing up in Louisiana, we say some words differently. And I say Compass, and that's the way it's spelled. And my wife was like, blah, 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 compass. And I was like, what? And I think that is the ugliest word in the world now. I did not know until recently that it's compass, and I'll never, ever say it that way. So this is expand compass. So as Gary pointed out, hey, Gary, you would want to install the Windows Management Framework 5.1 to get PowerShell 5.1. And you can also install PowerShell 6, which is based on .NET Core, but you won't get as much functionality as Microsoft builds out that core functionality. So Kendra said, I grew up in Texas and learned to pronounce lawyer like liar. Oh my God. And my dad is a lawyer. Lawyer. I don't, there's so many words. I actually grew up speaking something called Cajun English, which we say things that I didn't know the English word for. So I moved to California and they have those stickers in the ground. You step on that and that's called a pecan. So, oh my God, I stepped on a pecan. And then I go there and they're like, a what? And there were so many things in my vocabulary that I was like, oh, I come from a different place. And then my sentence structure is actually based off of French grammatical. So we're like, man, I'm hungry, me. And that's called a reflexive pronoun. And that's also French as well. So Scarapino, God, I keep doing that. I'm so sorry. Scaparino. He said, I mean, with the compatibility pack, you should have no problems now. And I have not tried it. I've heard a lot of good things about it. Oh, that's why. So the compatibility pack, my understanding, does not work on Linux or Mac. And so that's really the only places that I'm using core. I would be curious as to how well SQL Management Objects works with the compatibility pack. If anybody can download DBA tools, run it against the compatibility pack, and get some of the things, get some of the commands to run that, out the box, I would be interested. So Shane said you can drive 40 miles from here and have people argue about whether donkey is pronounced donkey or donkey. We have that same thing too, like by parish in Louisiana, because we have parishes instead of counties. I could actually, when I moved back, I was able to tell if somebody was from New Iberia, if they were from Erat, if they were from Abbeville, they're from Kaplan or Gaydon. And you can tell based on what they cook. Like some of us put potato salad in our gumbo and some of us are horrified by it. I am a potato salad in the gumbo kind of person. And yeah, so crazy. Potato. Let's see, if I'm not thinking about it, because I'm like, can I have a Dr. Pepper? But whenever you work with the rest of the world, you have to be like, can I have a Dr. Pepper? So let's see, if I'm just like potato, that's how it is. At home, it's potato. Potato. So so we're going to go back to the expand archive, not compass. PowerShell 4, probably, right? So his stuff would probably work in PowerShell 4. What I'll do is I'll propose 5, and then we'll see if he accepts that, or if he, in his code review, is like, Chrissy, I want to support 4 instead. So I'm just going to, test my limits here. I actually love, we have something called Sloppy Mama seasoning, boil season. Oh, that was another word. So we have something called, the way we say it is crawfish ball. So like, hey, y'all balling crawfish, but then other people can't understand what you're saying. So we have to say boil. Y'all coming to the crawfish boil. I wanted that for my birthday, but we were concerned because it's really hot and that limits your audience. But so let's see, we're going to go back here and I'm going to modify the README, right? V5. Then I'm going to go to the module manifest. The module manifest is the thing that makes your module proper. Like it gives the end user a lot of information. Like the company name, the copyright, things like that. So here we have PowerShell version, minimum version of the Windows PowerShell engine required by this module. So I'm going to go ahead and go with 5. But what if there's supposed to be a V? I don't know. What if it should be 5.1? I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the PowerShellGallery.com. And I know that Microsoft's SQL Server module requires a minimum of 5. So I'm going to see how they did it. If you go to File List, I wonder if I could click it. Yeah, I will be able to. So the PSD1. Is there no more requirement? I'm going to control. Oh, there it was, 5.0. So that's the minimum version. I'd have been wrong. I don't know about the .NET. That's not going to matter. All right. Oops. So we're going to go here. Sorry, I click a ridiculous amount. And we're going to say, let's do 5.1. 5, you know, if you're on 5, just go ahead and go to 5.1. And plus, you know what? Here's an argument for 5.1 over 4.0. The fact that if you're using VS Code, you're probably in a progressive place. Yes, thank you so much, Joe. I'm really excited about this module. All right, so we got some other things here. Ooh, we need to make you an icon. You know, maybe I'll do that on live stream. I love making icons, and I use paint.net, which I didn't know that everybody in the world didn't know about. It's incredible. And this other thing called like Icon Finder, and that's what I did with DBA Tools. I kind of took something that I found on Icon Finder and I smashed it together. So everything looks good. Oh, you know what? He does have release notes. So let's go to his release notes page. I saw them somewhere. Docs. All right. So I'm going to copy that. And add some release notes for him. Looking for any other things that I could do. So you can see here, this allows you to put in the descriptions and things like that. All right, and I think that we are done currently. 5.1. Oh, I don't know if I finished that thought or not. Yeah, if you're using VS Code, you're probably in a place where you could run 5.1. And this is a VS Code centric module. So now that we've done that, let's go to GitHub for the GitHub desktop. So the first thing that I'm going to want to do is I want to create a branch. So by default, like his branch, his default branch is master. And what I would like to do is create a branch to kind of separate. It's called like I don't know what it's called. There was a word that I remember that it finally like stuck in my mind, like I don't know, a workspace. So this one's going to be called V5. And there's like naming strategies, and I was trying to do like this really proper naming strategy, and then I was like, never mind, version update. But then that doesn't convey stuff. V5 docs, there we go, and requirements. So create new branch. And here you can see the difference, right? I love this. This GitHub and Git is the most amazing version or source control ever. And here you can see now my editor remapped his stuff. I don't know why, and I feel kind of bad for that. Now I feel like I'm kind of imposing on his project, but I don't want to undo it, and so I'm just gonna leave it like that. God, I wish that it could have just been that one little thing. But we won't anyway. Okay, so V5 update, and then, sorry for the mass reformat. Why would it do that? I don't know. So now what I've done is so first you save your files to disk, right? And then you kind of stash them by committing. So by the way, if you're wondering, commit message, or it's been suggested, so it should be 50 characters or less, but it's been suggested, like think of it as a tweet. So just a short little summary. And then your description, if you want to get real detailed there, you can. But right now, if we were to go to my repository, so here's Potato Qualities VS Code Backup. Oops. So we can see that there's one branch, right? And it's just the master. And so all of my work is still right now on my local drive until I hit publish branch. So now I'm going to publish it. Just hitting the button, easy peasy. And then I am going to refresh this. And you can see now we have the branch that I just created. If we go to the branch, you'll be able to see the changes that I made. So if we go to the PSD1, then we'll see that 5.1 there because that was the change that I made. Why do I keep missing it? 5.1. There it is. So we can see that the changes are made. Now what we want to do is, this is mostly where I do the create pull request from. So I'm going to do it from here to show you. Shane said, I think I put sorry in the last few PRs I made. I totally do the same thing. So require update to require version 5.1. And then sorry for the mass reformat. So that'll be something I'll do later. And what I'm going to say is expand and compress archive v4 and above. Oops, v4 and above. So that is the minimum, but 5.1 is fastest and securest. I lie, is faster and more secure. So I propose I suppose we use that, or I propose, let's see, because I don't want to, so it's not a we, right? And I don't want to say like, I want you to do this. So as I'm creating this, I want to watch the language that I use. So let's see, RV4 and above. So that is a minimum. But 5.1 is faster and more secure. So I propose this version be used instead. Also, sorry for the mass reformat. So I'm going to click on create pull request. And you can see here, so this is potato quality / VSCode backup and v5 doc rec. And I'm proposing that he merge this into his master. So I'm going to create the pull request. All right, so now you can see that it's redirected me to loose cannon / VSCode backup. And if I go to his repository, you'll note that he still has one branch because I didn't write to his repository. I wrote to my own, which is in a slightly different state. And then if you go to pull requests, I didn't pull requests to my own repository. In this case, I pull requested to his, and then from there, what he can do is he can review the changes. He can respond. He could say, you know, I know that 5.1 is, it should maybe be used, but I'd really like to broaden my audience and make sure that people who are using V4 use that. And, you know, he can respond that way. And he can propose changes. Sometimes what I do is I accept the changes and then I make slight modifications after and so on. So now what we've done is, I hope that was simple or easy to understand. Something that I do want to show you, which is very interesting to me. And oh, watch what we'll do. Okay, so I'm going to create a new branch. Test. Oops. Oops. Come on. Come on. Test. Create branch. I want to show you this because this is kind of made it this is what made it solidify in my head. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to create a new document. Chat, and I'm going to name it like something really obnoxious. Right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to commit this. Initial commit. Just going to yell. Push V6. But then I wouldn't be able to use his thing. I mean, I have V6, but I'm waiting for it to mature. So I have just created a new branch called test. And I am about to commit this really obnoxious. And the reason that I'm making it obnoxious is because it's going to be obvious. What I'm going to do is show the differences in the two workspaces. So now I'm going to commit to test. And I could publish the branch, but I probably won't, but I might out of habit. I am like clicking this day and night. So check it. So you see the really obnoxious text? All right, watch this. No. How am I gonna stop taking up my whole screen? I need you to take up only, there we go, part of the screen. All right. So that text, I'm going to switch X. It's master. Oh my God. So it disappeared. So you see how that works? Since it's in master, what I'm expecting, since I didn't make any changes to master, is that whenever we go and we look at this PSD1, which VS Code is really good about refreshing, what I'm expecting is that if we go to this PSD1, where is this PSD1, that if we do a Control F for 5.1, there's going to be no results, right? Because this is a different branch. It's kind of like a different little mini like file system. And this is why get is so much better than like, you know, dash back, dash final for real final, because what you can do is you could do this. So we are going to go back to test and we will expect to see that obnoxious file show up, right? Boom, right there. Now, I want to show you something else. What was it? Oh, let's say like, ooh, I forgot, you know, I really shouldn't have committed this. Revert this commit, and then it disappears. So that's, again, why GitHub is fantastic and way better than the old way of doing things, of just renaming files, making backups that way, and so on. So now, by the way, in VS Code, you can see this, how it's like highlighting and stuff. You can use source control in this, and I will probably start going in that direction, but GitHub Desktop just really helps me visualize how to use GitHub, and then after that, then I could use this, because I don't know, like, I don't even know. It's too many words. It's too many words for me. And I want more GUI here to understand how GitHub works. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna use my pause screen real quick because I'm going to be cutting up this video, and this will be an easy way to see. So I'll be right back. I'm hitting pause.